When people picture war, they usually imagine noise, explosions, gunfire, chaos. But if you step back for a moment, you start to notice something quieter. Wars don't really begin on battlefields. They begin with decisions. Somewhere, long before the first shot is fired, people sit in rooms and talk about strategy, risk, and necessity. They use language that sounds measured, reasonable, even technical. Lines get drawn across maps. Supply estimates are calculated. Plans are approved. And by the time soldiers arrive at the front, the logic of the war has already been set in motion. That was true in 1942. Because what happened in Stalingrad didn't just start in the rubble of a destroyed city. It started months earlier, as German forces pushed deeper into Soviet territory. Confident after a series of rapid victories across Europe, entire regions had fallen. Cities were occupied. The war machine appeared unstoppable. Then attention shifted toward a place along the Volga River, a city that, on paper, was both strategically important and symbolically powerful. Stalingrad, taking it would secure transport routes. It would protect advances toward oil fields. And perhaps most importantly, it would deliver a psychological blow. But once prestige enters a decision, something subtle changes. The objective becomes harder to question. When the bombing began in late summer, the destruction was immediate and overwhelming. Buildings collapsed into piles of brick and twisted metal. Fires burned for days. Civilians were trapped in basements, shelters, and ruins. From above, it might have looked like progress, a city being reduced, resistance being broken. But rubble doesn't always simplify war, sometimes it transforms it. Instead of open movement, fighting slowed into something far more intimate. Soldiers moved through shattered walls, across debris-filled streets, through factory halls and stairwells. Distances shrank. A few meters could take hours. Every doorway became uncertain. Every shadow carried risk. The battle stopped feeling like an operation and started feeling like endurance. And yet, far from the front, reports continued to circulate. Numbers were recorded. Losses were updated. Command structures remained intact. On paper, the system still functioned. That contrast is difficult to grasp, because systems have a tendency to smooth over reality. They translate lived experience into figures, divisions, supply levels, casualty percentages. From a distance, it can appear manageable. But for the people inside the city, daily life had narrowed into something much smaller. Cold, hunger, exhaustion. The constant awareness that survival depended on decisions made far away. Winter deepened the strain. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. Equipment froze. Fuel became scarce. Food was rationed more strictly. Even basic movement required effort. And slowly, confidence began to erode. Not necessarily in dramatic ways, but in quiet realizations. The sense that timelines no longer matched reality. That the situation was becoming harder to control. At some point, the question shifts. It stops being about victory. It becomes about persistence. How long can this continue? How much can people endure? What makes Stalingrad so striking is not just the scale of loss, although that alone is staggering, but the way the system continued to operate even as conditions deteriorated. Orders were still issued, positions still defined, expectations still maintained, because systems are designed to continue. They rely on structure, procedure, momentum. And individuals inside them often carry forward simply because stopping feels impossible. Then came the encirclement. Soviet forces launched a massive counteroffensive targeting weaker positions around the city. Within days, German forces found themselves surrounded. Supply lines collapsed. Air resupply proved insufficient. Conditions grew harsher. And suddenly, what had been an advance became a struggle for survival. Looking back, it's tempting to ask why decisions unfolded the way they did. Why hold ground at such cost? Why continue under such conditions? But history rarely provides simple answers. Decisions that seem incomprehensible in hindsight often felt logical at the time, shaped by assumptions, pressures, and beliefs about what was necessary. By early 1943, resistance inside the city finally collapsed. The battle ended. But the scale of what had occurred remained difficult to comprehend. Hundreds of thousands had been killed, wounded, or captured. Entire formations ceased to exist. The landscape itself bore scars that would last for generations. And this is where Stalingrad reveals something deeper. Not just about strategy or military outcomes, but about how systems operate. Because in large conflicts, individuals often become part of larger processes. Their experiences are translated into reports, summaries, and statistics. Necessary, perhaps, but also distancing. It's easier to process numbers than stories. Sometimes I think about how those events might have looked from different perspectives. To a planner, it was a complex problem. To a commander, a difficult situation. To a soldier, a daily struggle. Each level saw something different. And maybe that's why battles like Stalingrad continue to resonate. They remind us that behind every decision, every calculation, there are human lives, shaped by forces much larger than themselves. The system moves forward, but it moves through people. Today, the city stands rebuilt along the river. Life continues. Streets are busy. Buildings rise where ruins once stood. But history lingers quietly, not always visible, yet present in memory. And if there is something to take from Stalingrad, perhaps it's this. Systems may appear powerful, but they are sustained by individuals. And when individuals reach their limits, history shifts. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. See you soon.